stomach's round right now on the pot, and I've had so much sugar I've not been thinking about my health. Candy month was the best month of our lives. Candy month was great, but it's time to say goodbye. We eat snacks and candy here. Put our doctors in despair. We've got no time for apples or pears, only confections. Fellas, we are a snacking team. Fellas, let's have some more ice cream. Yeah, we lost our self-esteem. You tried that. You tried that. Candy month comes to a conclusion. Right here today, I'm Nick Novak with my pal Shada Hancock.
Babe. Hey, babe.
Nick Geiger.
Yo, babe. What's up, babe? Hey, babe.
Isn't it babe?
Babe.
What's that from?
Hot Rod.
You guys know who not the one I was doing. The one I was doing was you guys know Marie Kondo?
I know she's in the news for saying you don't need books. Am I right?
That's the stupidest fucking thing. Yeah. Okay. So she's this Japanese woman who's obsessed with like cleaning.
I know her. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I read. I'm a huge fan of hers. I read both of her books like a couple years ago, and like I'm all about like she preaches like, oh, you should get rid of stuff that all your clutter that doesn't spark joy and stuff. And she has a lot of really detailed methods about like how you should fold clothes. So now I fold all my clothes like the way that she recommends. Anyways, so she just had this Netflix show come out, and this will be a little dated by the time this comes out because the Netflix show came out, I think, at the beginning of January, but I burned through like all 8 episodes in 3 days or something. But the very first episode is like, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it because it's the worst couple like of all time. These people are so annoying. And they're one of those couples that they call each other babe, but they say it like 100 times during the course of the episode, where the woman's just like, babe, did you clean out the closet yet, babe? Babe, what are you doing in there, babe? And it's just like, that's all I could focus on in that whole episode was this woman just saying babe, and then the husband saying it over and over again.
I thought you were quoting Hot Rod, that Andy Samberg movie, because there's a part where Will Arnett is talking to his girlfriend going, babe.
That's pretty good too, yeah.
I thought you were quoting Babe Pig in the City.
Right.
And there's another part in that first episode too, where like the toddler, they have a toddler in the house and he's running around like and he spills like a liquid of some kind. If you look closely, it's coffee, I think. And so it's like, what? Why are they giving toddler coffee? It's sort of. And then they have another kid that's running around just like yelling for boobies, like she wants the boobies because she's getting breastfed or whatever. And so every time she wants food, she just runs up to her mom and goes, boobies. And like Marie Kondo like barely speaks any English, and she just goes like, what are boobies?
I hope we're getting paid by them for a lot of advertising for the show. So Chad has he's got 3 things to tell us. Now we're going to
that was
one? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. That lasted
I'm
4 minutes of podcast time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first anecdote gets a disliked it.
Real quick. On Twitter, I was reading so what was the thing with the books then?
Okay, so she has 5 she says you should go through your things in 5 different categories and in a specific order. So first you go through clothes, then you go through books, then you go through papers, then miscellaneous, and the last one is sentimental items. And what she says is you should take your books and you just put them all in a big pile, and then you pick one up and you decide like one by one if you should actually keep it, like whether or not it still sparks joy. She's not telling you to get rid of things that you don't want anymore. She's just saying you should go through and like decide whether or not you want them all. But of course, like in today's internet culture where everybody like gets mad at everything that they don't understand completely.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's just like, how dare she say to get rid of any books? Like, books are sacred. Everyone should have like a gigantic library, which, first of all, fuck books. Movies are way better. Second of all, like, they didn't even like take the time to like understand what she was actually saying, which was get rid of stuff that you don't like, regardless of like what type of thing it is.
Well, you can pretty much
So-
get every book digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why do I need a giant fucking library when I can just have a million books like on my phone or a Kindle or whatever, or even better, a million movies on my phone? You know, so like, why would I?
Or even better, a
bother with
million
books?
snacking
Anyways.
podcasts.
That's right. I think the only books people should have on their shelves are printed out versions of our podcast. It's just the dialogue sheets of everything we say. Now available in stores. Go look. So wait, so just to be clear though, Chad's official stance, everyone, is fuck books. Not a fan of books.
Well, look, it's the weather here in San Francisco is pretty mild most of the year, but when it does get cold, the thing that I like to do is take a bunch of books and burn them in order to keep my house warm.
Oh.
So I'm a big fan of burning books. Is what I'm trying to say.
Seems very cost effective.
Mm-hmm. I try to go find the rarest books. I go buy these like ancient tomes that are thousands of dollars and just burn them. I'm like, oh, nobody needs these Dead Sea Scrolls anymore, or whatever. Is that a book? I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, the Dead Sea Scrolls, famous book. They pulled it out of the Red Sea and they looked and said, "Oh, let's see who checked this out last."
How come those haven't been made into a movie?
No one needs this Declaration of Independence anymore. Let's burn it.
Exactly. I'll just go watch Hamilton.
My Jake, my son, will loves reading, so we go to the library, but he picks out all these books that aren't like they have no actual just one's just a picture of this guy who makes like sculptures out of Legos. He just pictures of all these sculptures and then with a little instruction underneath of like how he built them. And he's like, "Dad, read this book to me." And I'm like, "What am I reading?" And it's like, "Greenpeace number 7 went here." I'm not reading this shit. Like, it's not a book. Give me an actual book. He's very into Pokemon. It's just he gets this Pokemon guidebook. Oh, let's read this together. And he wants me to read to him about like all these.
And you're
Pokemon.
like, "This is garbage. Now let me go read Mel Kiper's reviews on the next 300 college athletes that are coming out."
Yeah. This is trash. Here's a book about basketball, something that'll make you a lot smarter.
All right, that was one.
Okay,
No,
so
yeah,
I
that
cut
was
you
the
off. What
first
was the
one.
other two
Give me number 2.
interesting nuggets? Yeah.
So number 2 was just a quick story where we went out to breakfast yesterday, and we were at the restaurant, and there was 3 women at the table next to us, and I just like there's been a thing lately that I've heard like a lot of people say that I really enjoy, where people will just be like, "Oh, I can't even with this right now," right? Like you get frustrated with something. You got heard people say that. Just be like, "Oh, I can't even with something," yeah.
Yeah.
And so you heard a lot on like reality shows and stuff, like reality TV shows, which is what I watch instead of reading books. So because me smart. So the 3 women sitting there, and then they were trying to decide what to order on the menu. And one woman said like, "Oh, I think I'll get this something that has chicken in it." And then the woman said, "I thought you were a vegetarian." And she's like, "Oh, well, if I only eat chicken when we go out to restaurants." The woman's like, "I can't even with you right now." And she says, "Well, I don't eat chicken that much." She's like, "I saw you eat chicken last week." And so I'm wondering, like, can you be a vegetarian if you only eat meat when you are at restaurants, right? That's sort of
Absolutely
going against
not.
the spirit of being a vegetarian.
I get that a lot. Like people say they're vegetarian, but I'm vegetarian, but I will eat fish, or like they have qualifiers for their vegetarianism, which is not good. Like that's just a total cop out.
Right.
Well, I mean, I personally don't give a shit, right? Like it doesn't affect me if they want to eat only. It's healthier for them, I'm sure, still than what I'm doing, right? If they want to make occasional exceptions, that's fine. It is, but you do lose the right to call yourself a vegetarian. Then, like you could just say, "I eat healthy," and occasionally I eat chicken. But you don't walk around and throw it in our faces what a great person you are about your vegetarianism, and then you eat a goddamn chicken whenever you feel like it. I guess I kind of turned myself around during the middle of
Well,
that
it's not
conversation. I
that
was
they're
pretty open
doing
to it at
that. It's
first.
fine. I'm not like either eat all meats or eat none. I'm not like
Commit.
You must have chicken at every meal.
I want someone to
but
commit.
I
is
agree.
all I'm saying.
I am looking for truth tellers. That's what I need. So I want people who, if they tell me they're vegetarian, are gonna be a vegetarian.
And the reason maybe I'm more sensitive to it than I used to be is, as I've said before, my wife has celiacs, and so when we have to go out, we have to be careful. And she actually has celiacs. It's not one of these like, oh, I just prefer not to eat gluten because Cosmopolitan magazine told me to. So then,
Right.
you know, now when she goes out there, she has to ask a bunch of questions about the menu, and sometimes you can just see the waiter like rolling his eyes because so many people either don't understand it or don't really have it, and they ask questions about it when it's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm gluten free, but this bread should be fine. And then they'll like go ask 16 questions about the meat, and it's just like, what? You're just wasting people's time. So I think that's why I'm more about, if you say you're going to do something, be about it. Then no half measures is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I can't even with these people.
Yeah.
But the woman was also very proud of her outfit because she was like, I don't know. It's one of those things where you're in a restaurant and like I just can't help but overhear the conversation, and like the conversation that I was having with my wife like basically came to a grinding halt because we were just trying to eavesdrop with these people. And like the woman was just talking about like how she was very fashionable and how she was channeling AOC. She's like, "Oh, I'm channeling AOC." Which is took me a minute, but then I realized she's talking about the there's a congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez something. Anyway, she's AOC.
Don't read books, kids. Don't read any books.
Yep. And you won't know anything about famous congresspeople.
The abbreviations are nuts now. Like,
Uh-huh.
I hear kids nowadays doing HBD a lot for happy birthday.
What?
I'm like,
What?
that is the end. It's the last straw for abbreviations, because if you wishing someone a happy birthday but don't even want to take the time to say the 3 words to them.
I do find it funny that for us to judge abbreviations though, because we were the people that used to try to abbreviate, like, you know, we came up with a bunch of like, instead of saying remote control, we would just say pass me the R-mote. And like instead of grocery store, it was like we were gonna go to the grosh S, which actually like harder to say than the original word.
Like for R-mote, we cut out E.
I feel like there was a bunch too at some point where it would turn out not even abbreviating. It would be like, let me see that C computer. Like you're just putting the first letter in front of it. Didn't really help.
All right, that was number 2. What's the last and best of your points?
I don't know if this is the best one. Maybe I saved the worst for last. But so one of the reasons that we're recording this so far in advance of when it comes out, and I haven't mentioned this on the podcast yet, but I'm about 1 week away as we record this from my wife probably giving birth.
Nice.
So
yeah,
HBD to that
HBD.
kid.
The baby will be awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, we had like a baby that my boss threw me a baby shower at work, to sort of celebrate, and it was a pretty small thing, just sort of like a lot of times at work they will do very big baby showers where like they invite like the whole department, and then I always think that's weird because it's like, oh, I barely know this person.
Yeah.
Like I just show up and like
It's for the people they like, though.
Yeah, and so that's true. And so I'll just show up like when there's some rando that like I barely know who's having a baby shower. I just show up and like grab a cupcake and then immediately like leave as soon as nobody's looking. But so I told my boss, I said, well, look, if
and you hold on. So you did not want to have one of those because you did not want to give other people free cupcakes?
Exactly right. Yes.
Right.
If there's going to be a thing and they're going to order cupcakes, like keep as many as possible for me, which I ended up doing. So they ordered. So I said, let's just keep it small and like the people that I actually work with. So there was maybe like 20 to 30, maybe 30 people there, tops, and they ordered 7 dozen cupcakes. So whatever that is, like 84 cupcakes for like 30 people. And they actually, I ended up taking an entire box of 12 cupcakes home with me that lasted 3 days. Anyways, So
Jesus.
yeah, and I ate pretty much all of those. That's not like between me and my wife. That was me. So
Man, you have a choice when you tell a story to make yourself look a certain way, and you're turning those choices down.
Yeah. You could blame it on your pregnant
Are they
wife, and
even-
she would not have any idea.
Necessary details to the story about how you ate all the cupcakes?
no, completely unnecessary.
Also, what an asshole you are to other people's baby showers. All these things could have been elided from the story pretty easily.
I'm actually picturing you just walking through these parties, like grabbing a cupcake, like with a mouthful of cupcake, being like, "Peace out, good luck with your kid."
Oh, I don't even say that. Just take the cupcake and leave.
Who's having the baby? Bill? Congrats, Bill. Just leave.
Well, there'll definitely be an awkward situation where I'll show up at one of these things and like everybody's like, oh, give a speech or whatever, and the person will like say something and nobody's going for the cupcakes yet because like, they're waiting for the person to talk, and I'm just sitting there like, when's somebody going to go for the cupcakes? Am I going to be the first person? And it's definitely happened multiple times where there's just like a pause, and then I'm like, and so I just walk up and grab a cupcake and then head out because I'm just like, I was just waiting for like a pause. Like, okay, now seems like a time to start eating.
It's like a gender reveal. Chad just walks up, takes a giant bite out of one. Oh, it's a girl. Yeah, whatever. And just leave. Pink frosting all over your face.
I took the only cupcake that had the gender reveal color in it and just walked out with it. And so they never actually found out.
Because they did their gender reveal at work for some reason.
Just picturing this scene of everybody turning around, and you're there at the cupcake table with the arms full of cupcakes and one in your mouth, and just turn to them and go, "Who?" and then start running.
I picture Chad walking up to some like heavy set girl and being like, "Oh, congrats! I didn't know you were pregnant." And you're like, "I'm not." And then you're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And grab a cupcake to sprint out of the room. You don't do that?
Well, because heavy-set women just carry cupcakes around all the time.
They're at the baby shower, and you assumed they were the person having the baby. I imagine you walk up to a heavy-set girl walking down the hallway with an armload of cupcakes, and you're going, "Oh, you're having a baby?" Just to distract her so you can steal one.
I just try to find everybody that just has cupcakes all the time.
All right, so what was the end of the story?
Anyways, I was just going to talk about like a little game that they had at the baby shower, which I thought was sort of weird, but they pulled out, so my boss pulled out like this bag full of pacifiers, and then he just handed a pacifier to everybody, and then like they set up like a line on the floor, and everybody like had to take turns trying to spit out the pacifier, like see who could spit the pacifier the farthest across the room. Which was sort of really weird. And after like the third person had gone and it was clear that like everybody's aim was really terrible, my boss was just like, "Oh, hold on a second." He just went and like closed all the cupcake boxes because he was afraid that somebody was going to spit the pacifier like directly into the cupcakes. I probably still would have ate them.
I've never heard of this game.
This is bizarre, yeah.
It was very weird. But
have you guys ever done the thing at the baby shower where people will take a candy bar and melt it and put it in a diaper, and then you pass these diapers around and people have to sniff it and guess which candy bar it is based on how it looks and how it smells?
I've heard of that game, but I've never played it. It sounds weird.
It's just gross because like I know they're all candy bars. It just looks like you're looking at runny shit. I told Betsy if she wanted to do that, one of us had to actually take a shit and put one log of real crap. Like, let's actually have some steaks in one of these. One of them is actual shit and the rest are candy bars.
I wonder if they can find out.
Well, it would have been jokes on them because most of my shit was comprised of candy bars. So either way. But now the other big thing about pregnancy is that it seems like it's so popular now that I never even heard of when we had our kids. And Novak, I think same for you, right? But like this whole gender reveal stuff, or now it's just like, now you have to do some crazy thing to reveal the baby or gender of the baby. Jed, I'm assuming you didn't.
No, we did not. We just, we found out pretty early through blood testing and stuff, and then we were just like, all right, this is it, great. But I do have a one of my good friends who he brought his sister-in-law with him to the appointment, like the ultrasound appointment where they were going to find out, and the doctor only told the sister-in-law, and then they went to a bakery and like got a huge cake made with the the color of the cake was the thing. And then they had a huge party that they invited like tons of friends to and stuff, and like, you know, filmed it all and like put it on Facebook and all these other things. And I'm just I mean, more power to them. I'm way too fucking lazy to do anything like that. Like, it's too much. It's definitely too much.
You just invited all your friends to the doctor appointment and watched the blood get drawn. Right? we were all sitting around the bed waiting for the test to come
I
back.
actually had all my friends watch me conceive, and then they like were watching the two sperms as they like, you know, raced, like the male and female sperm. That's how it works, right? And then they were like told me which one won.
We were all like, we all took bets, and we were like holding tickets up in the air, screaming and watching as they went. It was like at the horse track. So,
Right. Watching you conceive and then somehow being able to see your microscopic sperm.
So there is sort of a gender reveal that if you listen to the clues here today, and the winning candy will give a clue to the gender of Chad's child. So keep an eye on that.
Now I'm trying to figure it out.
Chad's, and he's naming his child Paul Newman. It is a boy. All right, so time to get into some candy. We're looking at now more modern candy. We've gone through the ages. We've did the old-timey candy, the 80s and 90s candy from when we were kids, and now it's time for a modern flair. But we use a 5-point rating scale here. It's a like that, dislike that, indifferent to that, dislike that, or hate that. Those are our choices. And let's start actually with the Paul Newman, since go ahead.
I think he said dislike that
Did I?
twice, and
I'm
missed
pretty
love
sure you
that.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
We use
Is this a new scale?
what did I
we're working on?
miss?
You said
dislike?
like, dislike,
love. Did I not do love?
Dislike, hate.
All right. Ready, here we go again.
Love.
We use a 5-point rating scale. It's a love that, like
We're
that,
leaving it at
indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate. Nobody new is listening to this episode. They know exactly what our fucking scale is. So, all right. So the Paul Newman organic peanut butter cup, and this, of course, is fits with the more modern candy, because to label something organic is not something we grew up with. So
Right, and definitely not something that Reese's Corp gives two fucks about, probably.
So the difference here, this Paul Newman cup is a 3-cupper. They are smaller than a Reese cup, but they come in a pack of 3.
It is Rainforest Alliance certified. I don't know what that means. I think it's mostly packaging.
I think it means it's like less exploitative of like rainforests in developing countries, but I could be making that up.
What do you think of all the Paul Newman stuff with that weird looking Paul Newman drawing on it?
Yeah, I mean, he looks a little old in this picture. Not the certified hunk that I remember when he was acting.
Yeah, I should know who he is, right? He was an actor or something.
Oh Jesus, yes.
Oh,
wow.
Don't you give me all this shit about how great movies are and then have no idea who Paul Newman is.
I'd hate to wonder if it was an author.
Movies after like 1980 are good. Before that, they all suck.
Yeah, he was in like
Paul Newman is not in Big Trouble in Little China. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one of the Fast and Furious movies was Paul Newman in?
Yeah.
No fact.
If you haven't starred alongside Vin Diesel, GTFO.
He was in Cool Hand Luke. He was in The Color of Money. He was in several other films I should know.
Yep, haven't seen either of those.
Oh, The Sting. Do you remember The Sting?
Nope.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I mean, I've heard of these things.
He was he starred on the cover of Paul Newman's tomato sauce with the same picture that he has here.
Oh, he's dead.
Yep. This is all pretty common news to everyone else. Oh, he died.
Attention, everybody. Paul Newman has died. When did he die? A long time ago.
A while ago.
Yeah. So this will be a little bit dated by the time this comes out, but everyone, Paul Newman's dead.
Happy 10-year anniversary of his death.
You gotta say spoiler first.
Spoiler alert, he died 11 years ago.
But he did leave behind a pretty good peanut butter cup. These taste pretty good. So what exactly is making these organic?
They don't put a bunch of garbage in it like everyone else.
There's no antibiotics on the peanut plants, maybe?
Pretty much every ingredient, if you read it, says organic. So organic milk chocolate, which essentially boils down to organic peanut butter, organic whole milk powder, organic sugar, organic chocolate liquor. They even have organic soy lecithin, organic non-fat milk. Literally everything says organic on it. So it means it just wasn't processed, or there's no chemicals that I'm aware of. I could be wrong, but everything is of the earth or something. It's rainforest certified. Apparently they also give a lot to charities. I was reading a little bit of that here. Royalties and profits that are received from the sale of this product is for charitable purposes. Because Paul Newman was rich as fuck. Like, he didn't need money. So he's donating all of his candy money. Over $400 million over thousands of charities since 1982. So that's pretty good.
And despite this being 3 cups instead of 2, it's basically about the same amount of calories as a Reese's cup.
They're smaller too.
I think it's like, I think it's like 160 or so calories for 2 cups, something like that.
Geiger, you're gonna lead us off. What do you think of Newman's cups?
Newman's cups. Well, Newman, I think he made a good cup. I think he
Newman.
I was gonna make a movie pun and couldn't figure out how to put one in there real quick.
Why would you not make a Seinfeld pun?
That's the wrong Newman.
Yeah. This whole time, Chad's pretty sure that Paul Newman's a guy from Seinfeld.
That's not even the actor's name.
I have seen a Paul Newman movie, Jurassic Park. He shuts down the system.
That guy is Paul Newman's son. Because they're so alike. I would love to watch Seinfeld all over again, but instead of Wayne Knight, they spliced in Paul Newman. Newman, and Newman just sitting there looking at Jerry Seinfeld. No, Cool Hand Luke was a good movie. Novak, what do you think? Oh, the cups.
I want to know about Newman's cups.
Newman had some luscious cups.
Were they B's, double D's?
They were PBCs. Peanut butter cups. See what I did there?
All right, great.
Yep. This is tasty. The peanut butter is really creamy. The chocolate's really creamy. They're not as big as a Reese's cup. They also, wait, now I can't remember. Did they have the little ridges? They do have tiny little ridges. It's not quite as ridular as a Reese's cup. These are very good. It's not quite as salty. It sounds stupid, but a Reese's cup has a little bit of that saltiness in the peanut butter that I think makes it a little bit better. This is overly sweet, but it's very tasty. I like the creaminess of the insides a lot. I give this a solid like that. I don't love it. I would like a little hint of salt in there, but other than that, these are really good.
All right. So good start. And actually, before we move on, we can we record these about a month out, so we can also say HBD to Paul Newman because his birthday is January 26th.
Yeah.
But he's dead.
Yeah. So this would be it's still his birthday. It's the day.
Yeah, I guess.
So potentially, I mean, this is the type of clue that a listener could listen for, and that this baby could be born with the same birthday as Paul Newman. There's a decent chance of that, actually.
Oh.
Pretty good chance, yes.
All right.
And if he names it Paul and it's a boy, Paul, it's a new man that Chad's creating. See what I did there?
Could it
all
be?
Circles together.
Yep.
All right, Chad. So what do you think of the cups? Paul's cups.
I was all ready to just I can't even with these cups, but they're not bad actually. They're not bad. They're no Reese's cup, and while I'm eating them, I wish I was eating a Reese's cup. But they still have a pretty good flavor. Chocolate and peanut butter is something that is very, very, very hard to fuck up. So this isn't exactly a high degree of difficulty here. I think they are actually hurt by trying to sort of imitate the Reese's cup shape and do it worse, right? Like the ridges are better on a Reese's cup. They're like harder and sort of like come up above the cup a little bit and leading to a softer inside on a Reese's cup. So it's like that contrast of consistency is outstanding in a Reese's cup. This doesn't really have that. sort of more.
We're not reviewing
Wow.
Reese's Cups.
This is more by contrast. This is more consistent throughout, and I agree that the peanut butter is not salty enough. So
I hope you raise your kid with this level of detail.
This is part of Chad's 2015 lecture on the Reese's Cup, and
I'm writing a book on my first ever book that I will read is a dissertation about the beauty of the Reese's Cup. But
the one dad, a dad and a kid are looking at a sunset and being like, "Look how beautiful that is, son," and then you're back to back with them and you're pointing down at a Reese's Cup, just being like, "Look how beautiful that is."
Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to give these a very mild like that. I think they still are pretty tasty. So do we have a welcome visitor, Novak?
All right. I'd like to say hello, Newman, but I'm going to say hello, Newman, because he's welcome. He's a welcome visitor.
Hey.
These cups are good. I think the chocolate is pretty good. I agree with the ridges. The ridges are an underappreciated but important part of the Reese's Cup. We had one other cup at some point a while back that also didn't have the ridges. I don't remember what it was, but it was similar to. It was a smaller size, but also didn't have the ridges. And the chocolate to peanut butter ratio is a tad off. It's still very good, and Geiger's right too about the saltiness there. So 3 likes, and Paul Newman's organic peanut butter cups is a welcome visitor. Let's move on to our next one, which is the Warheads. And Warheads, of course, are nothing new, but this is a new Warhead product called Warheads Chewy Cubes. If you've had Warheads in the past, it's sort of a Jolly Rancher sort of thing, but with a really super sour powder on the outside. And this is, I guess, a chewier version of that. Have you guys had the regular Warhead before?
Not since I was a kid. Didn't we try? We tried some Japanese snack that was sort of like the same kind of idea, right? With the shua powder on it, way back in one of our early episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't had a Warhead for a long time, but yes, those Japanese ones are a little the same.
Because this has a similar. It has like a guy on the front who's making like a very oh shit kind of face, like he's very surprised. It's like the same kind of face you would make if you were walking down the street and just all of a sudden like you crapped your pants out of nowhere. That's the face that he's making. Yeah. We're all familiar with that face, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the one.
I remember as a kid that these were really popular. Like when I was a little kid on the bus stop, kids would constantly have Warheads, and they constantly had something called Sour Balls, which I don't know if they sell anymore, but it was just basically like a Warhead, but it was just a big circle. It was super sour on the outside, and then I want to say it might have been gum on the inside or something. But Sour Ball, like kids traded Sour Balls constantly, and they traded Warheads all the time. And
it even says mildly sour on the outside. So, and eating them, they are not a fraction as sour as Warheads. They're really not that sour at all.
Yeah, they're not that bad at all. There's 6 flavors here: orange, watermelon, blue raspberry, black cherry, strawberry, and green apple.
Didn't the Warheads when we were kids, like there was some sort of like how tough you were meter on the back or something? Like if you could leave it on your tongue for like 2 seconds, you were this, and 4 seconds, you were this, and like 5 seconds, you were like a warrior or something like that. I remember them having some sort of rating scale because we'd always like test ourselves against that when we were kids.
I think that's something your dad wrote up and left next to your plate with the Warhead.
I think my dad put a bunch of Warheads out.
How much I love you.
He's like, you leave that Warhead in your mouth or you're a giant pussy. That's just the sign said by my door.
He was right. Yeah. We're a giant pussy.
And if you can eat it, you're a warrior.
Yeah. I think that's how Paul Newman died. He just left a Warhead in his tongue for indefinitely and he passed out.
I'm sure that's it. All right, so like we said, not that sour. The chewiness of it is kind of like, I'm trying to figure out another candy it reminds me of. What would you compare the texture of this to?
I mean, it's a little bit like some kind of like a thicker gummy worm almost, but
it's kind of like those orange slice candies with the sugar coating on the outside. And that's sort of what this is like.
Yeah.
Chad, you're gonna start us off.
Okay, so I've now tried all 6 flavors. It's sort of a mixed bag here because some of these flavors are definitely better than others. I enjoyed the green apple, enjoyed the watermelon, and strawberry was pretty good. Not as big of a fan of black cherry or the blue raspberry, and orange was okay. It's definitely better than I thought they would be. If they were really heavily sour, I probably would not have continued to try all 6 flavors. And the sweetness is pretty good. I don't know if I'd ever really buy these again though, and they're kind of stuck in my teeth now, which annoys the shit out of me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give them a middle of the road indifferent to that.
All right. I like these more than I thought. I actually think they could use a bit more sourness. They don't need to be Warhead type, but I do kind of like sour gummy things. This is just missing out. I kind of like these more than like a sour gummy worm. For whatever reason, I think they're a little better. And I am kind of going through the bag, going back for more. So I am going to give it a like that. So an indifferent and a like. Geiger, what do you think?
I'm kind of more. I'll combine 2 of your sentiments into one. A, I don't love that they're lodged in my teeth. B, they're just not sour. Like most things, right? These are not the Warheads we grew up on. Back in our day, Warheads were Warheads. Right? They were sour.
Like most things, the world was better when we were kids.
when you had a Warhead, they had to put a rating seal on the back because it was actually sour.
Right.
This, I don't know what modern day pussies are eating this and thinking this is sour, but it ain't. All right, bro, come at me.
Back in my day, Paul Newman was alive.
Paul Newman would probably prefer to be dead than see a generation of pussies eat these Warheads and think they're tough.
This is the kind of this is what people who call themselves vegetarians but eat meat at every restaurant. Right. This is what they would call a Warhead.
People with no convictions.
Fucking millennials, am I right, guys?
I know.
Fucking millennials.
Man, I can't tell you how many millennials I've just walked around and kicked all their asses because I'm so much tougher and stronger. Having said that, I do wish they were more sour. To me, the point of buying Warheads is that they're going to be super sour and like wreck your tongue and like, oh my god, I can't believe they're so sour. And then you get to the sweet part and it tastes good. To me, Warheads are in and of itself sort of a novelty because of the sour thing. Just making very sweet candy with like very, very mild sour stuff on top. It just turns into basically this is a gummy bear with some granules of sugar on top that barely change the flavor. So I'm they're not terrible. They taste fine, but I'm just indifferent to this. I don't understand why these were made. Make them sour or don't make them, right? Or advertise them as just like sweet fruit chews. It doesn't really make any sense. They didn't go far enough in the sour for me for these to
Everything
make
you said there is completely fair and correct. They shouldn't. The Warhead name has been blemished. I do like these, but it's just not. It doesn't fit with their product line. They should have come up with some other type of name, or at least change that the Warhead guy's face from looking like he's gonna shit his pants to something else.
He's just
he's totally overreacting. This does not warrant a diarrhea in the street face. This is like a mild, like I coughed and kind of like peed myself a little bit face.
Should just have put Paul Newman's face on there. Would have been easier.
Yeah, it's a picture of a guy reading a book. That's what you could do while eating these.
They should put a picture of Paul Newman after he shit his pants on there, which is completely like nonplussed, like his face hasn't changed at all.
I want to put
it in stride.
A very sour candy made by Paul Newman's company, but I want them to like twist that Paul Newman drawing into a really sour looking anxious face. All right, Geiger. So it's segment time, and you've got a segment for us.
I do. So this one gets right to the core of what You Tried Dat is all about. So Thrillist.com, and I'm trying to find what year this was. Bear with me. 2017.
Yes, this is the core.
Not being prepared, right? Yeah. So I totally got a segment. Why don't you just crosstalk while I figure it out? No.
Fucking Thrillist, bro. This is the illest Thrillist.
Yep, that's their slogan. Thrillist, founded by Paul Newman. A little known fact. And they ranked the 100 best snacks. So now, to be clear, these are brand names, not like carrots and stuff like that, right? So
a fucking asshole puts carrots at the top of their snack
it
list.
doesn't say it was number one. There's 100 options, right? So they could be somewhere in there.
What's your favorite snack? Carrots. Swipe left.
Shut you. Is that the only thing that's on Tinder? I'm just like, oh, I'm single. I live in the city. Love carrots. Next.
Man, we're just a bunch of disgusting assholes. And nothing
to
like
be clear.
carrots.
No, I hope you don't like carrots or eating books or reading books. Okay, I'll admit eating books is pretty shitty.
Who eats something that grew from the ground?
Fucking nerd.
Like carrots, being a vegetarian at restaurants, reading books, channeling AOC, swipe left.
I actually love how we trash. Well, Chad trashes reading books and Chad all this, but then like you get him talking about Reese's Pieces. He's like reciting Homer's Iliad, like, oh, one was crumpled in such a way that makes the chocolate dapple off your tongue. Books suck.
I also read like 6 books last year, so I don't know if that's a lot.
Not bad.
But it's not like I never read books, but they were pretty much all Agatha Christie mysteries.
Nothing wrong with
So
that.
Man, first you bragged about a super low number of books, and then you admitted that they were Agatha Christie books. That's all over the place.
I was expecting you to be like, no, I read like 6 books. I mean, one was the user manual to this drone I bought, and then. All right. So what we're gonna do?
One was the Mario Odyssey Player's Guide.
Mario Odyssey, written by Homer Simpson.
I read the Odyssey too. Mario's Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. That's right. It's a me. All right. So you guys are gonna take turns. We'll go. Let's do 5 rounds, so 10 total snacks. You can't name the same ones. We'll give you each time to pick one based on what you think is the most popular, not your favorite. What you think is the most popular. And then I'll add up all the scores from where they placed on this list. And whoever's the lowest score, indicating the more popular snacks, wins. Does that sound like make sense?
So just a clarification on the snacks here.
Yeah.
This is
no carrots. Spoiler.
There's both chocolatey and salty. There's all kinds of things, right?
Yes, it's savory snacks and it is candy, all in the same list.
And this, just to clarify here, is popularity based on sales, or
they just ranked the ones they felt were best? I think this is Thrillist themselves ranking. I don't think they did a survey or anything like that.
Okay, so how about one more clarification? If we're gonna be here,
get it all out now.
Let's say like you said, Reese's Cups, and then there was like the almond butter Reese's Cup or something. Like, is there multiple things like that of the same, or like a chip brand and there's 85 varieties of the chip?
I'm gonna give you one big hint right away. There's no almond butter anything in here. So
okay.
I'll tell you what, I don't think there is multiple. It looks like just general brands, right? If we really have to get it. So in other words, I could tell you that there are not like multiple flavors of M&M, for example, right?
Okay.
So if there is something that ends up conflicting, we'll get to that point. But there's enough things in here. I don't think that we're going to run into that issue.
I have another clarifying question.
Yeah.
Is broccoli on the list?
Ooh, hold on. Number 3. Nabisco brand broccoli.
No carrots, but they do have broccoli.
Also,
all right, who's first?
There's no Paul Newman's products on here. That's just another hint.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're going to really
have to think.
That you can't. They also added some more clarifications at the top. So really, no, you had all your questions. Just let me get through this. They didn't. This is actual brands, not like, so don't put just like chocolate chip cookies or something, because that won't be on here. And then there's also nothing that like you have to like prepare it. So like Hot Pockets and Pop Tarts and stuff where you actually have to prepare. Like you should be able to take it right out of the package and eat it.
Right.
So it's no
The type of stuff we eat here.
Right.
Okay. Who's
Yeah.
first?
Exactly.
I have another clarifying question.
What? Jesus.
I'm sure this is serious as hell.
Yeah. As I look up and he's grinning like an asshole.
Is cockily on the list? I just wanted to say cockily.
Oh my God. What?
God, I'm so glad we took a second, waited for you to say that so we can move on.
You're not ready to be a parent.
Jesus. Cockily. What even is that? Is that broccoli shaped like a dick, or is that dick that tastes like broccoli?
That's right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Wait. One more clarifying question.
Yeah. Here to help you guys.
Is coccolini on the list?
No, coccolini. I'm sorry. There was one more thing I had to tell you. There are no cock flavored snacks on this entire list. There's no like.
I have what about Bali flour?
No. I've never seen Chad laugh so hard at anything in his life. He's got veins popping out of his head.
Wait, what are you talking about? No flavored snacks.
Cock flavored snacks, I said.
Oh, cock flavored snacks. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Also, one last rule. None of these snacks have any flavor of any kind. It's just celery and air are the two. It's a 2-thing snack list. Jesus Christ.
Oh, so there are
Right,
vegetables
who's
on the
first?
list. Okay.
Who is first?
Why are you yelling at me, coccolini? All right.
Look, we decided that we're gonna be in charge of segments now. Your segment is off the rails. Get it under control.
You are the guys that ask the dumb questions. All right. I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10. Novak, what's your number?
Oh fuck.
7.
Chad, what's your number?
5.
It was 7. Novak, you go first. I don't know why I made Chad guess.
I'm glad you had Chad pick the number.
No, what if he guessed 7? They'd be tied.
Why would I pick 7?
It's a strategy.
You fucking idiot.
All right. Doritos.
All right.
Doritos.
Strong start. That is number 1 on this list.
That's what I was gonna guess.
Yes.
Doritos. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. All right. I will go M&M's.
All right. I know they are on here. Let me scroll real quick to find where they are. They are number 7. Good starts. 2 top 10 snacks.
All right. I'm going to say Tostitos.
Okay, hold on. This is riveting podcasting. Hold on. Talk about cock some more while I find the Tostitos on the list here.
Are they not on there? Are they that
Hold
far on the
on.
list?
Jesus Christ.
If they're not on the list, does that mean you get like an automatic 100?
Yeah, I hadn't
They're
planned on
under
you
number
guessing.
2.
Yeah, I don't see them.
Ruh-roh.
Uh-oh. Okay. So yeah, we will
That's 100 points, I guess.
I'll make a note and we'll see. Well, I didn't consider the fact that there'd be something you'd guess that wasn't on the list, but I guess I should have. So
Well, that seems like something people snack. Like I'm looking at thinking of things people
I'm
take
not
to like a
angry
Super
at
Bowl
you.
party.
You also, for some reason, brought this up on your phone instead of the computer, so you
Yep.
can't just do like a control
You
F.
did.
for
You did. You're right.
Tostitos.
Yep. Okay. I'm gonna make.
So instead, he's sitting there scrolling through his phone.
Jesus Christ, you guys suck. Okay. I'll tell you what. I'll give you 100 points for that for now, but we'll see. All right, Chad. Snickers is definitely on there. I assumed you guys, most of your guests would be in the front, so I wasn't too worried about this. All right, Snickers is.
He's got to scroll all the way back up on his phone.
Anytime you want to take over 6 for me, just let me know, buddy. Anytime. All right. Yep. Hold on. Yeah. All right.
Which is going to be Which is going to be longer now. I thought like, oh, there's no way this segment lasts as long as our like introduction to it because we took it off the rails. But now it's just going to be 20 minutes of him scrolling through his phone.
Hey, more premium content. Hold on. My dad's calling me. I gotta hang up. I can't find the list. Hold on. I was just about to get to it, and it goes, Dad. All right, Snickers is number 16.
All right.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Okay, well, I guess I did chips, and there was no one eats tortilla chips apparently as a snack. So, I'll go. I had a long time to think of it, and I still came up with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Kit Kat.
Kit Kat's definitely on here. Let me check it. Number 11.
All right. Reese's Cup.
I was amazed you didn't guess that right away. All right, Reese's Cup is number 4. So 2 more guesses for each of you.
Well,
Yeah.
I pretty much lost with that 100, so I'll try chips again. How about Ruffles?
Okay, Ruffles are definitely on here. I want to say they are 10. Nope, they're not. They are. They're definitely on here. I saw them though. They are number 20. Chad?
Fritos.
Fritos are on here as well. Surprisingly high, I thought. I thought they were
Oh, Fritos are the bomb.
10th. I like Fritos a lot, but top 10 snack of all time? I don't know about that. All right, so quick score call. So, Chad, you are at 27, 37.
Mm-hmm.
And no.
I wonder who's winning.
Well, yeah, you're at 20, 31, 32.
Why don't you give Novak Why don't you give Novak an extra guess and throw out the Tostitos one?
Okay,
So it's
yeah,
actually close.
well, that'll be your one gimme. So you do 2 in a row, then Novak, and then Chad will have one more. So score call without that, it's Novak is then in the lead, 32 to 37.
All right.
Okay, just jumped back into the lead.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say I can't. Butterfinger.
Butterfinger. Pause. Hold on here. I think it's 22. And then what's your second guess?
Oh, this is the one I was thinking of before we even started because we would talk about them. Oreos.
Oreos, I believe, is number 2.
Oh wow, good call.
Let me just confirm that. Yes. All right. So if we're taking out Tostitos, then you got the number 1 and number 2 snack. So yeah. 42, 43, 45,
Mr. Numbers, Mr.
56.
Max.
56 total for Doritos, Kit
37.
Kat, Ruffles, Butterfinger, Oreos. You have 37. Yes.
So I have to get number 19 or better.
Yes, and you only have one more guess.
All right. Coccolini.
Coccolini. 7. No.
Oh, wait. You said that wasn't on the list. My bad.
Right.
Okay. I'm just going to go. Let's go Chips Ahoy.
Chips Ahoy.
Is it in the top 19?
Yeah. Well, I got to look for the whole thing because if it's out of the top 100, I'll give you.
I just opened it up on my computer and found it. Chips Ahoy is 32.
Okay. Is it really?
Yeah. However,
nice work.
So I win here. However, I also just found Tostitos on the list, and it is number 69.
Where?
So technically, if I go with Tostitos, I would have lost.
Oh yeah, you didn't lose then.
But right. No. Tostitos was taken off the board. So
no.
Only because Geiger's a fucking dipshit.
That plays into my strategy.
The least organized of all of us. I could have sworn I didn't see it. All right.
Look, I'm just saying I've got the bigger ball of flowers. That's all.
So the top 10, let's see if we just agree with these top 10 here. Obviously, we talked about number 1 and 2, which were Doritos and Oreos, which are pretty popular. 3 was Pringles, the third best. I like Pringles, but that seems high.
That's insane.
Reese's Cups was 4. 5 was Goldfish. That's ridiculous.
No,
That's
no, no,
awful.
no.
Awful.
6 is
Goldfish-
Cheetos.
Goldfish
Cheetos
are for
suck.
like 4-year-olds, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
totally agree. And Cheetos suck. 7 M&Ms, fine, I guess. 8 Cheez-Its. You know I'm a fan of Cheez-Its.
I love
9
Cheez-Its.
Haribo gummies. Like,
No.
Unbelievable. Fuck
No.
this list. Those things are dog shit.
And then 10 is Fritos.
Those things are dog
Even
shit.
as far as gummies go, Haribo sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, they suck.
All right. So technically, I will say Chad won because if we add Tostitos in there, it would 69, and that would eliminate your second guess, which was Oreos.
Well,
But,
I would say I won, so that's a different take on
That's
it.
true.
I would say that our listeners lost.
There's one big loser. You listening now. All right. We do have a final snack to go, and it has to beat out 3 likes. And it definitely is a shot. So this is the M&M's milk chocolate bar with mini M&M's inside of it. This is a sizable bar. This is not a one sitting type of deal.
Now, I have seen it. We've got this big 4-ounce one, but I have seen it in a more manageable size before.
Okay.
Like in a standard candy bar size, but not in a while, actually. So, and maybe that was at the M&M store in New York City. I'm not sure.
If you take out the bar, it is really oddly set. I don't know if yours has the same thing, but there's like a grid of 16 little squares that you could poke out with an M&M on them, and then there's a picture of the M&M guy as part of the bar too. Do you guys have that?
And he's that red M&M who is like the cockiest, like most obnoxious of the M&Ms, right?
Sure.
Even on the front cover of the packaging, he just looks like a huge prick.
Look at that smug, self-assured M&M. Now, is it confirmed that he is hooked up with that sexy green one, like a whole lot?
I actually think him in
Is that
yellow.
Is that canon?
Him in yellow.
You think Yellow and her have done it?
No, him in yellow. Red and yellow. They made green. That's how you make green. Red plus yellow. Right?
Wow.
Oh, no, wait, that's
all
blue.
right.
Fuck, that's blue and yellow. God, I need to read it. I need to read a coloring book.
Here's the problem with this whole idea of this bar. Is that you're just putting pieces of chocolate inside a big thing of chocolate.
Yep.
It just seems odd. The whole thing seems a little bit odd.
The only thing you're gaining...
You're basically just adding like a little bit of consistency, like some crunchy.
Right.
Yeah, it's just adding texture. The chocolate inside tastes the same as the chocolate on the outside. This is a lot of milk chocolate.
Like why bother even putting the little M&Ms in, right? They should just take pieces of the candy shell and just like mix it in with the bar, right? Like little chunks of the candy shell, and it would be exactly the same thing.
Oh, all right. I'm first.
But still tastes pretty good.
Here's the thing. That's my chat and show. Here's the thing. I like, let's say, a Hershey bar. I'll eat a plain Hershey bar. I have no problem with it. And I like it better with almonds. So a little something in it can help. But this is taking a chocolate bar, which is just okay, and making it worse. I think putting the M&Ms in it is making me want to eat it less than I did without. I would 100 times over get, of this same size, they sell those bigger Hershey bars, 100 times over get that over this. I wouldn't buy this or recommend it to anybody, and I don't even really want to eat that much more of it. I don't know what it is. It's just the combination isn't working, and there's no reason they should have made it. Dislike. Geiger?
Dislike?
Yep. Did you see it on the 100 Greatest Snacks? I didn't.
Well, apparently I didn't see a whole lot of those on there. It was right next to Tostitos. I guess I don't understand the point. You made some good comments there. it's like eating a chocolate bar. I don't really like eating just plain chocolate bar. Like if I don't, it doesn't interest me to eat just like a plain Hershey bar because it's just too much. It's just pure milk chocolate. The chocolate is good. I mean, it's good chocolate. Um, and then you eat these tiny things in there that add more chocolate to it. There's really no point, like Chad said. Chad's absolutely right in that they could have just sprinkled some empty shell in there and that's it. So I'm probably just going to go indifferent to that as well. It's fine. It's like a plain old chocolate bar. There's nothing great about it. There's nothing bad about it. It's just right. This is the epitome of right down the center. I want to downgrade it for being a dumb idea, but in truth, like just going purely on the taste, it's just neutral to me.
All right, so nothing can really save it at this point, Chad. But what do you think?
Here's the thing: avocado.
You idiot. That's the thing.
That's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Avocado.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah. Okay. So I like where their head was at here. I think they, I like that they're trying new things. I like that they were sort of brainstorming this. The execution here is flawed. It does not work. These should be mini peanut butter M&Ms. Or even peanut M&Ms, I guess, but I think peanut butter M&Ms here inside this bar would be a top-notch snack because the chocolate is pretty good, right? The flavors aren't bad, but there is just something about it where you're just eating it and you're like, what the fuck is the point of this thing? I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm confused. I'm getting stared at by this cocky asshole on the front of the bar. So the whole thing is just very bizarre to me. I don't understand it. So, but it doesn't taste awful. So I'm just going to go indifferent to that, middle of the road.
Would you say that you liked the cocklet in the bar?
Yep.
I like how you're looking at me like I'm an asshole, Mr. Avocado.
Why are you making that joke? It's not even a fruit or vegetable.
Oh, that's the point? Okay. Let me go back.
What did you think the point was? Just to say cock?
Yeah. That's usually the point of this podcast week in and week out, isn't it?
That's why we started this podcast.
Remember when we were going to call it just Cox? It was just going to be and then we couldn't get the agreement to go on I don't know. Move on.
There were never any discussions with any of these podcast sites.
We had to negotiate with Apple.
Right. Wait, is there already a Cox one?
So the clear winner is, well, not that clear, but the winner today is Paul Newman's Organic Peanut Butter Cups. So like we said, they're not giving anything away, but there's some information. If you listen to this 5-6 times, you will pick up the clues for Chad's child gender reveal. So
yeah, you need to actually, in order to really get all the clues, you have to tell 30 friends, have them listen, and then it's sort of like a pyramid scheme. And then once about 1,000 people have listened, all get together and like brainstorm together on Reddit, like when people are trying to solve catch criminals and stuff together. That's how you can figure it out. None of you alone are smart enough.
You need to go on Thrillist, find their list of 100 snacks, and just find Tostitos on there. That's a key part of this.
Right. There's more clues there.
Yep.
This is very intricate. So Geiger, why don't you tell our listeners where they can contact us?
Well, after telling you this entire episode to listen to Marie Kondo or whatever her name is, and Paul Newman and Thrillist, we've given you lots of advertisements for other things. Also, if you don't want to read any books, go to burnbooks.com. It's a place where you can mail your books and they'll just put them in this giant pile. It's with a bunch of idiots and just light them on fire and cover them in propane. It's pretty neat.
But warm idiots, they will stay warm.
Very warm idiots, yep. Sorry. Novak proudly eating another peanut butter. Are you candied out by now?
I'm celebrating the winner.
Oh, okay. I did eat one of the snacks from a previous podcast right before we started this, then realized I should probably stop.
What snack?
A Jimmy Sticks. One of those chocolate. I was like, it was also a piece of candy. I'm like, we're going to eat a bunch of this
please,
candy.
I don't remember what you rated that, but I think you rated it a dislike.
He gave it.
Oh,
He gave
okay.
it
Yeah.
indifferent. He gave it.
Okay.
I was
indifferent.
just
I'm looking
fine
at
with
right
it. It was the leftover potted meat that we had.
now.
No, if you want to give us some feedback, ask questions, tell us you agree with us, disagree with us, suggest a snack, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening as always. And you can get in touch with us at Gmail. You Tried Dat at gmail.com. Hashtag You Tried Dat on Twitter. The You Tried Dat group on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Instagram. We're probably everywhere. PaulNewman.com. We're on there. We sponsored that website because we appreciate its work.
We're on paulnewman.com.
Yeah, we are. There's a little picture of us. Chad's such a big fan of all his famous works like Rampage and the Super Mario Brothers movie and all the other things he's
And if you look very closely in the 5th episode of the Marie Kondo show, pause it at 38 minutes and 24 seconds, and you will see us podcasting in the background.
Correct.
We broke into one person's home, and we're in there just for a split second.
That's true, babe.
Yes.
So,
Hey, babe.
And coming up in some upcoming episodes, we will be trying some fan snacks. Super fan Desiree sent us these snacks, and we're going to be trying them out. We're looking forward to it. But I think everyone should follow in her steps and send us snacks. That would be
Yes.
the cool thing to do.
If each super fan we had sent us 3 snacks each, we'd have 6 snacks. So that would be very helpful to us if you could do that. Yeah, and when we get global and famous, we can say you were part of it when. So do that.
And we'll also going to be trying the new Most Stuff Oreos coming up soon. We don't know when, but we found out about it, and now we are forcing it into our roster.
It is a gots to try situation.
All that will be coming up, but also send us tweet out your answers to once you figure out what the gender will be. Tweet those out, and we'll see who is correct.
Once you figure out.
After you spend multiple hours to figure out the answer to a 50-50 question. All right, and that'll do it for this time, but we'll see you next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces, babe.
Yep, babe.